Welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me this morning is Vasil Shevchenko, former Transportation Minister of Ukraine. Vasil, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Sure, definitely. So recently I've heard you would have mentioned that there's a cheap facility that assembling arsenal for the Ukraine. Is that making an impact in how the war is being fought, or is it economically changing the trajectory of what's going on in your country, economically speaking?
Now I think that we are ready to resist Russia Federation, and in many cases Ukraine's forces have managed to stop their movement, and now Ukraine forces are fighting at the Russia's territory just to form buffering zone. And Ukraine forces managed to liberate settlements in the Kharkiv region, and Russians are trying to move further just to demonstrate that they are able to fight effectively. But nevertheless, Ukraine forces are able to deter them, and mostly we have combat events around the battle line, because Ukraine forces has managed to form the line, to build in many places fortifications, and now main combat element, it's produced in Ukraine drones with assistance artillery and reconnaissance services. And thanks to this technology, Ukraine forces doesn't allow Russia to move closer than for 15, in many cases 25 kilometers to Ukraine forces. And immediately military vehicles are being immediately eliminated at the distance 25 kilometers. And now you know that Ukraine has managed to produce own long-range missiles, and these missiles were used against Russia refinery at the distance more than 100 kilometers. And these missiles is produced at the place earlier were producing international intercontinental ballistic missiles in Ukraine, and now is being prepared producing big numbers these missiles. I don't know when it happened, because it's extremely cutting-edge technology, and its first missiles, this type missiles is built in Ukraine. And then we have received long-range drones, and then we have received middle-range drones and combat missiles, mixed between missiles and drones, which has engine from the aircraft and has speed about 100 kilometers. And because of it, every night you can see that Ukraine forces are shelling Russia's military objects and eliminating military producing missiles. For example, a few days ago, Ukraine forces using different type of weapon has eliminated more than 100 Russia's long-range ballistic missiles, which were in the storage at the place where are being equipped long-range missiles by long-range missiles, long-range bombers. And now they has no missiles to launch to Ukraine, maybe for 3 months. And nevertheless, every night they are shelling Ukraine. For example, today we have about 200 drones. As usual, about 90% drones are being intercepted or are being suppressed by special equipment which produced for suppressing these drones. And nevertheless, about from 5 to 10% Russia's Iranian drones are hitting residential houses, because we have had many negotiations concerning ceasefire. We can see that they visited for this meeting concerning ceasefire. They expressed their opinion about it, but we understand that they are not interested in holding any negotiations.
Right.
They are interested in shelling Ukraine, and they are interested in weakening Ukraine, because weakening Ukraine will allow them to move further. And then we can see that they are trying to demonstrate that they are powerful countries, that they have submarines, that they have a lot of weapon, but nevertheless we can see at the battlefield that Ukraine forces are effectively eliminating different type of units, and every day Ukraine forces are killing or heavily wounds Russia's mercenaries, Russia's killers who's trying to storm Ukraine's territory. And because of it, we know that we will try to resist them, and nevertheless we know that we are exhausting, we are smaller, maybe we don't have enough manpower to fight it the same way, because, for example, they are sending their soldiers to die without any hesitating, and this cannon fodder is attacking Ukraine's fortification maybe from 150 to 200 times. And because of it, we can see that many Russians have been killed, and now Russia's casualties more than in manpower more than 900,000 soldiers, and it's growing. And I think that Russia's authorities don't pay attention for it, and they are looking for around Russia and around the world mercenaries. They are trying to pay higher and higher benefits for participation, but as usual, most of soldiers from their side can receive only one salary. Nevertheless, Ukraine is suffering because of their shelling, right, and because of their attempt
Yeah, so that's this question, because I think over the past month, the president was doing his best to try to secure a peace deal, a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. Do you know if he was successful in trying to get anything done? And other question is the United States still giving you any form of physical support right now to the army and sending military equipment and so forth?
For now, I can say that Ukraine hasn't received any promises from current United States, newly elected United States President Donald Trump. And we heard that head of House Representative commented that draft concerning support for Ukraine cannot be supported. It means that this president, I think that he is trying to demonstrate Americans that he is able to establish ceasefire and maybe peace agreement, but he doesn't want to understand that Russia are not interested in any ceasefire. They are interested in blackmailing Europe and United States. And now we have seen many times that Russians have demonstrated their treating United States representatives, and we can see very often wrong understanding Russia's opinion, because Russia's involving representative, so-called special envoys, to make negotiation, maybe to involve in their relations in the sphere of business, because they are interested in canceling sanctions. Russia doesn't want to hold the war, but war is the only way for current Russia's president to stay in power, because he cannot lose this war, and at the same time he has no resources, and because of it he is holding war, and at the same time he's trying to demonstrate that he is ready to hold negotiations, and he's sending person who's orders not to have any negotiations, but to distract attention, just to demonstrate that they are going to have. But this events have bad influence for security relations in Europe, and you must remember that United States were involved in both First and Second World War, which took place mostly in Europe, and then were spread around the world. And partnership between European countries and United States is a crucial moment. And now, very often, I cannot estimate United States president, but I can see that very often his action or his opinion can be harmful for United States, because United States power and European country power is important, because it's a type of human rights, human life values. It's not bargaining. It is not business, because business relation, it's something different. I can understand that maybe he is good. He was good in real estate sphere, but now it's something different, and very often this type of relations can be harmful, first of all, for United States. And I think that...
Excuse me.
In this case, we don't know what and how will we, what will we do, and how will we fight with Russians further. We don't know, but we are sure that we will have resources for waging war, because this war is existential war. And for example, some officials are trying to blame Ukraine's officials that they wrong, and their action is wrong. It personal opinion, but mostly we are Ukrainians are waging war against invader. If we stop fighting, we will die. Nobody will survive. Russia has demonstrated that they are killing children. They are putting on their rifle heads of Ukrainian children. They are blackmailing and kidnapping Ukrainians who's at the occupied territory. For example, Ukrainians up to 65 years, Russians drafted and sent to attack Ukraine's forces fortification without appropriate preparing. They don't care about it, and if its type is good, and if North Korea is a good partner for them, and if Iran is a good partner for example, for communication, then it's something wrong for world relations, for domination, democracy, and human rights in the world. And then we can see that United Nations is suspended because of Security Council blocking, and United Nations is unable to act. And they cannot prevent ceasefire. They cannot stop dictators. And because of it, current world order at stake, or better to say that we can estimate that it doesn't exist. And because of it, for Ukraine is extremely important holding negotiations with United States and holding negotiations with United States. As far as I know, we are holding negotiations, and we are trying to persuade our partners that we haven't made any mistakes, that we are defending. Why during these negotiations special envoys are taking information from Russia's side and repeating their narratives, just trying to eliminate Ukraine, that it's Ukraine who's start this war. How can Ukraine start war at their own territory? And all people understand that it's Russia's invasion to Ukraine caused the million victims among own soldiers, and many thousand soldiers were killed and have wounded in Ukraine. And because of it, I'd say that maybe nearest future we will manage to persuade it, and we will demonstrate that it's important to have world order, and it's important to have good friends, and good relation must be main idea. And now under looming threat from dictatorships, democratic countries must be together. It has happened many times. I have exampled First World War, Second World War. Now we have chances to prevent it. First of all, the one way to provide Ukraine enough weapon, or to provide Ukraine sophisticated weapon which would allow to defeat Russia's troops, but we were limited. We were limited in weapon before first storm captured by Ukraine Russia's troops, and then we are limited in supplying weapon before we were going to liberate our territory. And I think that this negotiation concerning concerning weapon for Ukraine from United States, I saw the information from Pentagon. Defense Ministry of United States confirmed that Pentagon from their storages have supplied weapon to Ukraine for 65 billion. 65, not 200, not 380. It's information from Pentagon. It's confirmed by Ukrainian president at the press conference. And this misleading information very often is harmful for both sides, because, for example, America must understand it, that we are honesty and that we are ready to communicate and we trust Americans. We are trying to persuade current powerful representatives.
I will answer this question, and I know that the Ukrainians are penetrating the Russian borders and so forth. Once they are there, considering the amount of hundreds of thousands of troops that Russia would have lost so far, when they get there, is there a strategic point where they're looking at trying to suppress the art of Russia's military advancing more? What would be their purpose getting into Russian territories?
First of all, Ukraine's forces has key points to prevent Russia's blow, because Ukraine's forces manpower is lower than Russians, and because of it, to defend them, Ukraine forces must have more comfortable fortification and more comfortable places for defending territory. And them, you must know that them closer to Ukraine's border is located Ukraine fortification. Them further Russians are launching gliding bombs. For example, they are launching flying bombs for distance 50 kilometers. It's about 35 miles inside Ukraine. All settlements at the distance 35 miles from Ukraine's border are fully eliminated. People from these settlements are replaced. And because of it, Ukraine's forces very often looking for better position to defend territory, not allow them, and to have opportunity to prevent for 10 maybe kilometers, 10, 5, 1 kilometers to prevent their opportunity to launch this gliding bomb, because they are shelling us. And them, you know that we haven't received promised us fighter jets, and we haven't received weapon which would allow us to launch missiles air to air to prevent Russia's fighter jets gliding bombs.
Is the Is the European allies given any long range missiles or anything, or are you hitting Russia with long range missiles at this point?
No, we received with fighter jets. We have few fighter jets F-16 and fighter jets from France, 3 fighter jets. But it doesn't have missiles which can target Russia's fighter jet at the distance more than 50 kilometers. But Russians has missiles which can follow Ukraine's fighter jets at the distance 150 kilometers. It means that our fighter jet cannot come closer to the bottom line more than 100 kilometers. Now this fighter jet are intercepting drones and are intercepting cruise missiles. because cruise missiles are extremely dangerous, and their altitude flying is very often is far from the opportunity to intercept by different type of missiles surface air. And fighter jets are intercepting it easily. And for example, a few days ago, Ukraine's pilot using fighter jets have intercepted six cruise missiles, launching 4 missiles to intercept, and 2 of them he eliminated from fighter jets machine gun. And it's a record, and he received many respect from his United States partners, and he is in communication, and now it's good demonstrations that Ukrainians are using produced in United States weapon extremely effectively. And we are able to be a good partner because we have most powerful army in Europe. If we are able to resist Russia Federation, but this army needs technologies. We can fight, we can deter Russia's offensive by different type of drones and hitting Russia's refinery and military objects inside of Russia Federation. But very often we are unable to hold attack operation without carriers and covering from the sky. Aircrafts are extremely important to holding effective operations at the battlefield, and because of it we are ready to discuss it. And then we can see that as a result of strong policy in the sphere of defense, United States producing aircraft company can lose their contracts because of attempt to switch off equipment which were installed at Ukraine's fighter jets.
Yes.
And because of it, I think that we are ready to communicate with representatives of this sphere just to demonstrate that it's good weapon, and this weapon can be used effectively, and then it's easy to make Russia Federation to hold negotiations. Just our opinion to leave our territory. We don't want to stay and to capture Russia's territory. We want them to leave our territory, and we
Absolutely.
are trying to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Vasil, thank you so much for coming on. The 20 minutes had disappeared quickly. And for all those who are tuning in on Living in the 21st Century, have a great day.